I am standing in one of the world's largest private museums. Welcome to the Cars of Dreams. The Cars of Dreams Museum is a collection of classic cars that spotlight an era that was truly the heyday of American automobiles. Inside a building larger than a football field, these vintage vehicles are meticulously placed around the custom-built sets designed to evoke Americana. Now, I've traveled all over the world, and I've seen some majestic sights, but I am not kidding when I tell you that this is one of the most jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring things my eyes have ever seen. I have reached my Graceland. If you ever wanted to go back in time, this is truly the place to be. As you can see, there's lots of themes going on here in the Cars of Dreams. Obviously, the fire station. A garage from the 50s. Double features on a Friday night at the drive-in. And a town square complete with its own diner. All built around a carnival park with an authentic hand-carved carousel. On tail fins and chrome, you know, we're all about horsepower. And this one's all of 16. Here I am in Dillinger's Lounge. The cool thing about this bar is it was shipped in from London, and all the artwork you see on the walls is from local artists. I'm Batman. This is my wheels, my story. The Batmobile is about as iconic as it gets when it comes to superhero transportation. Stored in the subterranean Batcave under Wayne Manor, this midnight black atomic-powered automobile with red and white pinstripes was actually a customized 1955 Ford Futura, and was every boy's dream to drive it. Okay, it actually ran on gasoline at a top speed of only 40 miles per hour. And now that I'm older, I sadly realize that these neato bat gadgets don't really work. So I'm thinking, we really should go steady. The guy you're with, he's a stiff. Don't go anywhere. My girlfriend and I will be right back. I am fortunate enough to sit down with John Staluppi. He is the owner of Cars of Dreams. John, tell me about this place, man. It's amazing.
Well, this has been something that I've been looking to do for the longest time. I had a garage by my home where I had about 10 or 15 cars in it. And every time I wanted to use a car, I had to move all the cars to get one car out. But this all started back in the 60s, 1962. I was a mechanic at a Chevrolet dealer, and I had a 62 Corvette and a 55 Chevy. So I used to work on these cars. And then I got involved a little bit more as time went on, and I kept one car, and then I sold it, and then eventually, as I got older and I got married, I moved down to Florida here and had children, and always wanted to bring back all my old car collection, and eventually then we got rid of them cars. But we started this collection about, I want to say about 10 years ago, and I built a garage by my home, which was like, it actually had to look like another home. So I could never really display the cars the way I wanted. And my partner, John Rosati, and me owned this shopping center one day, and he said to me, why don't we build a museum here so we can put all your cars in? So, I don't know if you look around here, but my wife, Jeanette, and my architect, they came up with this whole theme of the old-fashioned days where we lived in Brooklyn and in Long Island. Mm-hmm. And she went out and she bought all different types of items for the memorabilia. And then we just kept collecting cars, and every time I would go to the auction, instead of buying one car, we would buy 10 cars or 5 cars, and then I always wanted to fill the gap. This is a collection of Chrysler 300s, convertibles. I don't know anyone else who has a complete collection of Chrysler 300s, especially in the convertible model. Mm-hmm. Then I went after the Chevys because that's what I'm from, Chevrolet dealer, and we just kept growing this museum to be something out of the ordinary. And it really didn't start off as a museum. It started off as a place to house my cars and enjoy myself, and then we decided to put a bar in here, and, mm-hmm. and you know, it became kind of special as we went on.
Wow. All right, John, There's a ton of cars in here, and this question is, what's your favorite car?
It's not one favorite car, I have like 2 or 3 favorite cars. And
Okay.
one of them was my first car, which is that 1929 Pierce Arrow. The other favorite car, which is probably more favorite than that, is this 56 Cadillac. But I found my original 62 Corvette, which now took over first place of my first car. Well, this here is my actual 62 Corvette when I was a kid and a mechanic. My father came in here and he's 99 years old, and I bought a Nash to show him that it was his car. And he said to me, "Nope, John, my car was a 4-door, this is a 2-door. He says, "But I have the registration from your original Corvette." I says, "Dad, that's impossible." And sure enough, he pulled out the registration and gave me the registration, and I tracked the car down. The car was up in Chicago, and I got in touch with the owner. I bought the car, brought it back here, and we restored it. But this was my actual first car, my first Corvette that I've ever owned. And I still love this car the same as when I first bought it.
John, I know that it's kind of rare that the public gets to see this place. How many times a year is it open?
3 times a year. And we only open it for certain events to raise money for children. And we only do that in correspondence with some kind of big organization. That makes a lot of sense.
That's amazing, and we got a club out front that's almost probably banging on the doors as we speak. So I'm going to let you go, and we're going to let them in.
Great.
All right.
How you doing? I'm John Staluppi, and this is my Cars of Dreams. And I love tail fins and chrome.
Being that Cars of Dreams is rarely open to the public, they always choose one special person to officially open the doors to this amazing event. Let's see who the lucky fella is. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Cars of Dreams. Good morning. This teal 1958 Olds Super 88 is a timeless classic. In 1958, Oldsmobiles were known as Chromesmobiles, owing to the huge amount of chrome trim on the body, which Oldsmobile advertised as the mobile look. Works for me. How about you? John Staluppi doesn't miss a trick in his collection. He's got everything from 1950s convertibles to legendary muscle cars, like this Shelby Cobra. By the way, it's an original Shelby Cobra. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Hey John, did anyone ever tell you look like De Niro?
He looks like me. Are you kidding?
A little bit. A little bit. Great to have you back. This is the point where our show goes to the dogs. Literally. So we just happened to run into Jeanette, who is John's wife, and Dillinger, which was named for the lounge inside. Tell me a little bit about Dillinger.
Well, Dillinger, we always had Rottweilers, and they died, and I didn't want no more dogs. So all of a sudden, Jeanette came at a car show with him, and we says, we're going to name him Dillinger so everybody thinks he's like a tough guy. So we named the bar after Dillinger. And Dillinger's the only dog that's allowed in Barrett-Jackson. He has his own bitter's pass. So you'll see him on television all the time, and when we're bidding on cars, if he barks, I pay more. If he stops barking, I get off the car.
A trip to Cars of Dreams is like a step back in time. A marvelous, simpler time when cars and girls were the only things on our minds. Huge thanks to John Staluppi for this exclusive tour. And thanks to you, our viewers, for watching Tail Fins and Chrome.